Here's the numbers I'm going to put out: 104, 105, 109, 110. I think it's 107, 106, then 100, 100, 100. That is not the number of hot dogs Kyle ate at the 4th of July celebration.
Welcome to Relevant Rants. The first article is actually, it's pregnant woman gets pulled over.
You're doing this well.
He's
doing this
well. That there's two people because she's pregnant. End of quote. Repeat the
Kyle,
line.
you got to fill them in before they just say we're blundering all over the place.
So I guess a better reference. I'm Ron Burgundy. Okay. It's a jab. It's a jab at not knowing what to say and just reading from a paper, and so we couldn't not take the opportunity.
We sat down at our seats.
So this was a great idea. Who are we jabbing? Who came out and actually just read cue cards as if they don't know what's going on?
What was it verbatim that was said?
For the I don't remember exactly what he said.
End quote. Repeat the line again.
Yeah, it was like end
so
quote.
So we're referring to our
line.
president, the wonderful President Biden that came out.
We're poking fun, but it's actually super sad. But
yeah.
You used to think, I've said this before, like you used to think whenever you're a kid, like when you're talking about wanting to grow up and be the president, it meant something. It meant a prominent figure, a well presented speaker. It meant something like where it was like that is the elite of the elite of the elite, and now it's like, don't put him on a bike. You're going to hurt him. He's going to fall,
Exactly.
And I agree.
And that was a sad deal, too. He fell down just trying to get off a bike.
And it's funny because you could have said that metaphorically, but it literally happened.
I know. Yeah,
it did.
Yeah. I can't count the word salads every time, between him and Kamala they get on. It's sad. It shouldn't be that way.
What are we doing?
So what do we got today, bud? Now that we're back into Relevant Rants, are you going to start us with your hot topic?
Yeah, my hot topic's pretty short. I just found it more humorous than anything else. A pregnant woman got pulled over for being in the HOV lane.
Yeah.
And
basically was like, HOV, for some of us oldies.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's the carpool lane that costs
the
money.
Carpool lane.
Mm-hmm. Best thing about having kids.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, she has kids. Actually, she said that she was on her way to pick up her actual born child, who was like 10 years old, I think, or something like that. But
so if we set the facts out, a lady driving in the carpool lane, right?
Yeah.
Gets pulled over by an officer for being a single passenger.
Yeah, being a single passenger. She's like,
I'm not. Her argument or defense was, "Hey, I'm pregnant. I have a life in me."
Yeah, and I actually don't find this very controversial at all, because I could see that their claim being like, regardless of like whether we classify babies as life when they're still not born yet. I could see it being like, if we can't see two passengers, you're one passenger. Like,
well, what was the purpose of the HOV?
The HOV, well, that's just to tax people to use their lanes. Like, because carpool lane used to be free. It used to just be like.
But why would we carpool? If I remember correctly, I think in the early days.
It was an environmental thing, wasn't it?
It was fuel.
It was an incentive, I think.
I think you're right. It was incentive
to get people to carpool.
To get people to carpool, to environmental reasons. Climate, I guess, would be one of them. And it is interesting. When I was in, I don't know how long they've had around. I think I was in college. So it was a long time ago in Orange County. I remember a guy getting pulled over, and he had built a mannequin as the passenger because he was on the road every day. And after they finally got busted and they talked to him because the cop pulled up next to him finally, I guess he'd been doing it for years. He had a mannequin there because
just like a hat or
you just said
shades.
It's awesome to have kids for that because generally you fly in a carpool lane. You'll go through your.
The speed limit's usually 70, and the fast lane carpool it's at least 80.
At least 80.
Exactly.
At least 80. And it flies.
So if you needed a reason to have a kids,
if you don't have a reason, right there, carpool lane.
So what all are we talking about? Let's unpack a few different things just so you know what you're in tune for. We'll be quick. We're just going to kind of touch surface level. I think we're talking some Twitter deals. We're talking some weather.
Maybe in the most electrifying way, though. You're still looking at me like, I can't believe you said that.
This guy's going to talk about
this
weather.
Guy's gonna talk about weather.
5000.
But it's like 50-year-old conversation with weather. How it affects the old
rant.
guy.
It's not
more
just
of a
a discussion.
Okay.
Because I thought about doing different articles when I came here. I'm like, that isn't even that sexy of a topic.
And then we can hit on inflation again as well.
Yeah,
so
we can.
Why not? Well, let's hear it. What do you have? You start us. I'll go in the middle.
So I said Twitter first, so we'll bring it up. So Musk, what do you think the likelihood? Because you're in the law,
right?
You've practiced law. What do you think the likelihood is that they hold him to purchase this or make this acquisition?
You know what? I put it this way: the likelihood, as far as a statistic, I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I would say they very well may. He's going to either have to pay money to get out of this deal,
And
Or
I
they're
don't.
gonna
I think
push-
it's going to be a lot.
Or
too.
No,
yes, or
like-
I think they're going to push him to make the deal. And I think
so
it had gone far enough.
Contractually, if he backs out, it's $1 billion.
At least.
Yes.
He's going to have to pay more
yeah.
than that.
At least
Yeah.
that based
Yeah.
on
Just
the
because
total.
of
Because
the
I
cause
think that's
and effect
actually
of this
in the
acquisition.
writtenness of it all.
So, and I'm a big Tesla investor, right? So, for the love of God, get out of the deal. You should have never gotten into it. My stock
That's
does
a
not.
great area. Why do you think he got into it? If you think about it,
So
you
I
think it was
he's.
an ego type
I
thing
think
at the
he's.
time?
I think at first it was an ego thing.
I
It
do
was a
too.
power move. I do think it was for the good of the people having a public platform that was not ran. Everybody knows it is not a secret that all of the media and every news outlet is biased to the left. I think that he saw an opportunity to take a platform. He obviously can't buy Facebook.
Right.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Facebook owns Instagram. So I think this is the only practical platform that could be purchased and then run by a middle/slightly right wing.
I
Forget
still
about
think
Pinterest or Etsy.
I still almost think that was an afterthought. I think at the time, because remember he bought something.
Well, he's
else.
always opposed to Twitter.
No. It's not the opposition. I think he got in the middle of it. There was all of the conversation coming up with free speech and it being regulated. And his wealth has been great for a long time. And then he starts getting pumped up about this time's happened, that not only is he the richest man in the world, he's the major richest man in the world. And bam, he's like, I'm going to purchase him. I'm going to purchase him. And it goes from 30 some odd billion
There's
to
a
44.
lot of talk around this. It was way before he even, and someone's been saying like, hey, there needs to be a new platform, a new media platform where it's not owned by the left, right? And so it's been talked about by, I think it was on the Rogan podcast numerous times. There has been a lot of talk and buzz that someone needs to take this torch and lead the way.
Right.
And I think he saw the opportunity, and maybe ego was a part of it.
Right.
I'm mad because I just remember looking in one day how much money I lost on Tesla, and I'm like,
Yeah, no,
okay,
there was lots
stay
of
in your lane, bud. Get
Yeah.
out of the Twitter deal.
Unintended.
keep building that net worth elsewhere.
And
Well,
so-
what do you think's
I know in
the
real
end
estate.
game?
So real estate's interesting. I can translate it there. So I know that in real estate there are situations and circumstances where you can force a buyer to buy a home.
The bona fide
Yes.
purchaser.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, you can force a buyer to buy a home. Obviously, it's a very long process,
Right.
And it can be drug out for a long time, but it can be done.
Right.
You can force a buyer to buy. So I think that there's a chance that he ends up having to buy this. Do
He
I
might
want it
have
to
to.
happen? Not a bit. Like you're talking about someone who is conservative, someone who knows the left has the narrative of the media, but I just still like, for the sake of selfish reasons,
Right.
focus on Tesla, focus on renewable
can see
energy,
that, yeah.
Right.
focus on leading. Let someone else,
SpaceX,
let
And-
Joe
and your
Rogan
stock
and
in
some of these
Tesla.
other guys
Right.
open up a platform or do something like that. Like I just think he should stay in his lane.
Well, there's like Truth Social, which is like, I don't want
Truth
to make
Social,
an account
I don't
of.
even know what it is.
That's Trump's Twitter.
I know, but I don't know what it is.
I don't.
Like, you
That's all I know.
I will refrain from commenting, but it is interesting to get on there. If you want to, you would love it. Let's
No,
put
I don't.
it that way.
I'm not even that like crazy. I'm actually very.
Don't you
dull
dare come in
perspective.
here and say, "Oh, I'm in the middle. I'm just barely
I'm in the middle. I am. I just.
You're crazy.
Hey, I don't care who you are. I'll take a jab at you. I think I insulted someone. It was the other day on this. I said, if you're an adult and you play video games, I think less of you. Right?
We
Like,
should have a discussion about that. Cause
I like. I'm
Well, I
very,
would have to. How old are you? dude?
I'm
'cause you play
27.
games.
Yeah,
So it's
but
not
that'd be a
directly
fun
you.
discussion though. Like
would
maybe
be a great
maybe we'll have
discussion.
a relevant rant. Should
And
adults play video games?
A
I
lot
don't
of the
know.
times, I'm just kind of
This
talking.
is our second topic: whether adults should play video games.
And
'Cause
I
this
talk a
isn't
lot
bad.
of times tongue in cheek, right? Like I'm not serious. Like, do I think that it is sad who the president is of our country? Yes, but it's like we still got to love the guy and support him. I still respect him as the president of our country. I would never say
It's not like the
harmful
non-president things,
words
yeah.
or language toward him, right? Like you saw the
Right.
left do to the right 4 years ago or a couple years ago. So it's like, yes, I slightly lean to the right, but I look at both sides and I'm conscious. I think I was the only one who was fighting pro-abortion in a capacity. I didn't say I stood that way. I was playing the devil's advocate, and I was
Yeah.
probably the only one doing it.
But here's what's interesting. It's hard to even play the devil's advocate today.
Oh my
because
gosh.
I have leaned one side politically my whole life, but
Right.
I'm like you. I sometimes like stirring things up.
Oh, that's
and
good.
when I
If
play
there's a
devil's,
pot,
if I
I'm doing
play
this.
devil's advocate, people forget you're playing devil's advocate, and they're like, he believes this guy.
Yeah.
He's the. And
It's almost
it
like people
has-
forget that it's even a thing.
And I think it's sad because I think there's those that go over the top on their beliefs, and others, I'm just like me, where I refrain from so much political talk. I have not posted on Facebook, and I can't tell you how long, or Instagram,
I've
or
posted
whatever.
a few, and then
I only have a
deleted
Facebook
it's-
to manage the lunch break podcast. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and
all
I
I'd
think
use
that's
it
an
for.
interesting time.
Yeah.
No,
But that's kind of sad, though. That's another topic. Because why is it that the right, because you're typically find it with conservatives that we don't want to say anything. I've never seen it on the other side. Usually it's if you're against LGBTQ, if you're against it, you are literally Satan, right?
You're ostracized.
Yeah. You're not allowed to post. But if
Absolutely.
you're pro it, you could post freely, right? And I'm not saying that I even have a side. I'm just saying that the narrative is not the same.
This is a great topic. Almost such a great topic. We shouldn't do it on the air because I am in such. No, I am. I'm in agreement with you, but I don't know where this could lead.
Yeah.
But I'm in agreement with respect to the way one side gets looked at versus the other, and it is interesting. Now, because we're on the stock market and Tesla and Twitter, what I know you indicated inflation. There was some
Inflation's tough. So I know in real estate, it looked like there's hope. You saw inflation ticking up to low 8%, or somewhere around there, 8.2, 8, and you saw it come back down a little bit, and everyone got a little excited. You saw interest rates 2 weeks ago. Interest rates dropped down to, I think it was like 5.1, 5.2 where we're at, and in 1 week, I saw the market pick back up.
Right.
It never declined, by the way. It just leveled off. But in 1 week, you saw buyers checking back in. Yeah. You saw loan apps going back. And then now we get a new report. Inflation is now 9%.
Right.
It hit a new high. And what do you see immediately? Rates are like, July. At the end of July, we're doing another 0.75. Right. September, another 0.75. We may even do a full %. And so it's like.
I saw an article yesterday that said, people have more money in their wallet than ever before, but they're still getting mad about inflation. I think it was a Washington Post. Do you buy the fact that although inflation's high, the cash flow of most Americans is supposedly better than ever?
I think I'm spending more money, but that's because of things
everything's
happening in my
expensive?
life. Yeah, but not just that, but other
there
reasons
is
too.
a major spending problem. And I mean,
from the top down,
individuals,
yes,
companies, and government. Like what has funding this war really helped? Right, from that to like these COVID bailouts. Look, we're all in business. Go ask the local business owners how much they suffered because of COVID. They didn't.
No.
Majority of business
did very
prospered
well.
and advanced during COVID. Spending didn't go down. It went up. I mean, maybe 2 months it got shy.
Right.
I know people that have received hundreds and hundreds of thousands
If
of dollars
not millions.
of COVID relief when they didn't need COVID relief.
No, I agree. And listen, you bring up...
You know what I said? Let me finish on... let me just say this one point. To those people, I said, you are never allowed to judge or criticize someone because they're on a welfare program, a government-funded program, a food whatever it is. You business owners are no different because you're taking money that you didn't need.
Right.
If your business was not affected. Now, if your business was affected, different story. Get the help. That's what it's there for. But I know people that prospered and are still getting free money.
Or they could have not locked things down and not had to give out these checks for no reason.
Well, you know what my fear, and I'm probably blowing this up. We put so many spending proposals up. We approve so many spending proposals. Then the next set of government officials come in, and it's like kind of taking this wound and open it a little bit, where I feel like we just feel free to spend. The fact that we're coming up with policies of, hey, people that owe college funds, let's pay those off. People that have this debt, let's come up. And I'm not trying to make this socialist argument versus capitalism.
Yeah.
I don't know, based on how our government is created, we can freely spend the things we think we can spend on without somebody paying the taxes and paying that back. Yeah. I agree with you. No matter where we are in inflation, to me, unless we get our arms around this with what's going on spending-wise, we're in a whole heap of trouble. Unless we face some huge economic boom, we have billions of dollars that were added on that were not expected. And for a guy that's my age, that's going to try to retire, do all these things the next 10 years, that's frightening. It's a frightening place, man. I don't know if we want to even move. I have a very soft topic to end with, right?
A very hot topic.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm going to do, here's the numbers. Here's the numbers.
If you needed to go use the restroom, now's the time. I'm just kidding.
See, I think this is the coolest topic we have. So if we're going to hit all around, here's the numbers I'm going to put out. 104, 105, 109, 110. I think it's 107, 106, then 100, 100, 100. That is not the number of hot dogs Kyle ate at the 4th of July celebration.
Because you would have been lowballing it.
That's right. That is what our weather is going to be like the next 10 days. Yeah. And this is why I thought about it. As I was getting dressed to come out here, although it's light clothes, I started sweating in my car. Something that tends to happen more lately.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous. When I was 30, when you're a kid, weather means nothing. You go play in the pool, you go play in the
That
house.
feels great.
Yeah.
Then you get to your 20s and you're kind of, you're invincible. You can golf. You can do whatever you want in the weather because you're 20. You're 30, like this young cat.
27 actually, but yeah.
As you get older, you're like, it becomes part of your day. You have to dictate part of your day.
Hey, we can't go out to lunch today. It's a little warm
Hey,
outside.
honey, we can't eat. We're going to sweat when we put our stuff together.
Goes for a walk
Yeah.
and dies.
And I'm
That's
like,
good.
so all I was going to ask is from a rant standpoint, what you guys do when it's this hot. I mean, do you still carry on your day and you and your wife do whatever? Because I know, like, at my age, if we know it's going to be 109 or 110, I'm serious. We're going to have a movie day. We're just going to kick back and watch movies and head out. What does a young man like you do, Kyle?
Our day's unaffected.
Really?
Except for the fact that, like, we'll swim.
With the kids?
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll
we'll swim with the kids,
Yeah.
but still, I remember when the kids were young, you're always lotioning them up if you're outside.
Don't get me wrong.
110 is
It's
hot.
miserable. It's hard to do certain things,
Yeah.
but, like, it's...
You're not picnicking.
I mean, we're not picnicking.
So you are picnicking.
We're not. Like, if we were planning on doing it...
He's saying he
and it's-
can, but he doesn't.
What I'm saying is, like, if we were like,
Well,
hey,
you know what?
next
I could
week...
lose weight, but I don't.
No, this is what I'm
meaning.
meaning.
Answer that is.
This is what I'm meaning. I'm meaning, like, if we were like, hey, you know what? Next Tuesday, let's ride our bikes to Rancho Grande.
Right.
It's a Mexican restaurant we live by.
Right.
If it's 105, we're still doing it.
Okay.
I'm still decent.
It's just more pleasant when it's 100
I'm-
versus 105.
I'm
but-
Which is sad too.
I'm decently acclimated to the heat, but it's not the heat that's the problem. It's I just burn so quickly. So
With
it's
your
I'm
tender little skin?
a little ginger white boy.
Yeah.
So I burn way faster than I would feel heat exhaustion.
I get it. It's you know what? And I hope I'm around when you guys turn in that 50 category. It changes you. You can sit back and say, "No, it don't. I'm tough." Believe me, I went through doubles in football in this city for 10 years.
Oh, that sounds
where you're
awful.
going out
It's-
there in the morning at 3:00.
Now, let me just fact check you a little bit. I think historically, this is actually a cool summer.
I think
It's
up
been
till-
hotter
on record.
before.
Listen, up till
For
this
sure.
week. That's
Up
what I was
until this
reading the
week,
number.
yeah.
That's what depressed me. I literally pulled up the weather on my phone. I looked at the next 10 days. I'm like, man, this stinks.
Yeah.
I've really got to figure
I think we
something
had more
out.
110 days last year and the year
Oh,
before.
and I think, we had a cool
So let me
period
help
of
Which is
solve
not
your
a
problem.
fun
Let me
thing to
help-
say, but
So tint your windows, very dark.
Right.
Tint your front window.
Oh, no, you know what? My wife
can't
and I
afford the
put
ticket.
tinfoil up like we're Elvis Presley.
Oh, yeah.
Is that ahead of you guys don't remember that, do you?
No, I know what you're
No,
talking
probably not.
about.
Elvis used to just put tinfoil up when he went to the hotels to keep all the light out.
Oh no, okay, don't know what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about
yeah, I
the
didn't
things,
know that.
Elvis
the
Presley,
reflective,
guys.
the reflective lens in the front windshield of a car. But
We're
Yeah.
going to get through the summer.
Yeah.
Great topics today. Are we going to
what
wrap
do you
it up
have?
now?
Anything?
So before we wrap up, there's actually a little bonus relevant rants from Mike and
Get
Tom.
out of here.
Yeah. So
Let-
we're gonna
let
show
me
that
s-
for you.
Well, let me save you a little bit. Look, just give them. Look, if we've ever asked the audience of anything, give them grace. It's a little painful. You could. They're gonna kill me. It's a little hard to watch. It takes a little while to get into it. A lot of background noise, but they
Oh,
look.
I can edit most of that in post.
Well, they're okay looking. Like maybe 5.5
Not bad
out of
looking
10.
guys.
5.
And you know what's so good for me is Kyle said the stuff that I usually do. So I'm just going to sit back and say, hey, guys, do your best to watch the video. It
Scott-
is charming.
Scott gave me $5 to say it instead of him. So
Exactly.
these were his words.
That's right.
So I think you need to wire these guys some money so you guys get some more.
But enjoy. They
positive
have a good
comments.
message for you. So I
Yeah,
think
they
what
have-
Alex
they have a
is
great
saying.
message.
Wonderful message, guys.
Hey there, we're coming to you special relevant rants from Nashville,
Dunbar
Caves
in
Clarksville area, Clarksville,
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Hope
Got
you-
our Black Rifle coffee hats on.
We got the cicadas in the background for kind of a audience.
Yeah,
So I love it, Mike. I love it. Love doing these things with you.
we're having fun, special on location.
Yeah.
Or in a location, I don't know if it's on location, but we're going to talk to you about a few things today.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what do you got to present?
You know, this week in San Jose, they found a homeless encampment that had a bunker of goods that were stolen from the community worth $100,000, and they found 3 weapons. So as San Jose is making up their mind, why isn't more being done about this, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, there again, we see it all the time. People can be arrested and they're released, and they actually have an area that has a crime spree with homeless people that are actually making a bunker inside a homeless encampment where they put $100,000 worth of people's stolen possessions. So they've made some arrests finally, but the idea would be, hey, kind of get ahead of this. because they're worried that there's more of these around, and we realize that. Now, this is something we got to make clear, Mike, is that we're not against the homeless. We're for that, but we're for them going into...
We're for them getting help.
Yes. There again, we know that we support the Rescue Mission, Teen Challenge.
A lot of nonprofits.
Yes, and the navigation centers, which is just in our hometown, where you go and you can get, I mean, Mike, it's amazing the services are available out there. Man, you can come in, bring your possessions. It's a low barrier. You can get your dog or cat spayed, got a chip in them. You can get your checkup. You can get dental work. You can get medical work. Yeah. You can leave there with a grip on where your health is, and they'll put you in housing.
Yeah, well, our good friend, longtime good friend Jeb, is doing some really cool stuff here in the Nashville area.
And you got to go see it.
Yeah, that was really cool. So shout out to Jeb.
Yeah, and the Nashville, loving Nashville project that they're doing.
But I was talking last night with some of mine and Kyle's good friends about, there's a big problem, and a lot of people are moving to this area because of the crime and just how we're letting everything go. We're not helping people, we're just enabling people in California.
Yes. And that's something that if you want to jump in with this thought, I mean, we'd love to hear ideas and presentations, questions. But we think we've come through maybe 3 years worth of trying to put a better foot forward in our community in California, where we're actually, having the low barrier navigation centers, which we told would make a bigger difference, and I'm not sure they are.
No.
I mean,
it's just enabling a lot of people.
Yes, Theo Dews, which is close to me, is the director of the Navigation Center, and we hope that people would be taking advantage of that opportunity to get their life on a better foot.
Well, I think they're taking advantage, just not in the right way.
Yes, I agree. So they're having this crime spree in, Bakersfield.
Yeah, and in all of California, really.
That's true.
And then on top of it, when they do catch people, it's like, hey, we caught you. Hey, you're bad. Slap you on the wrist. Go ahead and go on out now. And go do your thing. No, there's no repercussions for doing those things.
Yeah, no cash bail release. So you're back in the community.
Yeah. So then we also talked about there was a big thing in the news recently about the fentanyl, right?
Yeah.
Fentanyl's been a big thing crossing the border. A lot of it's coming from China, synthetic opioids. And just a small dose of it, and we've known some close people to us that have gotten affected by it.
Well, I've had 2 friends die from fentanyl overdoses.
Oh yeah,
it's a big problem.
So my wife and I had a big conversation with our kids just the other day. We're like, hey, if you see money on the ground, do not pick it up. Yeah. So what they're doing is sometimes on purpose, sometimes it's not. But there's money that's got fentanyl all over it. You touch it, you could die.
It's such a low dose overdose. It is out there. And so if you're out there, I mean, it's not even one where you have to be around it or experiencing it. Just be on the drug.
But it's the liberal policies of wide open borders and no repercussions. All of these things that are enabling these things and causing these things, and it's frankly killing people.
Yes.
So.
Well, people that wouldn't even have an exposure are getting exposed.
Right. They're not going after it on purpose. It's just people are literally like trying to do harm to others. So anyway, that's it from us here in Clarksville. Have a great evening, and see you later.
Video should be finished. Proceed with ending. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. I'm just kidding. We're done. We've had too much fun. Mom and Dad have been away. Mike and Tom have been away, so we were able to have a little bit of fun today.
Yeah.
A little more freedom.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Hope you guys liked it. Like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care, guys.